Good evening. I'm Byron Scott with the CTV News Update. A grassroots organization is weighing in on the recently announced settlement between the county and the Prince George's Police Department. The R.G. Elliott III Coalition for Justice held a press conference this morning. The county spent more than $26 million, mostly in legal fees, to settle the 2.5-year-old case. A group of Black and Hispanic officers sued the county alleging discrimination. They received $2.3 million. The coalition is highly critical of how the county handled the case and calls for police reform.
So we do need police reform, and we need it not only in Prince George's County, but statewide and nationwide. So let's be on top of what's happening. We, the citizens, demand good leaders. And when the people lead, the leaders will follow. That's what they need to be aware of. So look out for us. We will have our eyes on you. Thank you.
Meantime, according to the Washington Post, members of the county council say their ability to watch over spending was undermined by inaccurate and incomplete information provided by the Alsobrooks administration. Well, the new regional hospital in Prince George's has experienced a surge in emergency department visits, and long wait times prompted complaints. One local lawmaker says she's not surprised. Councilmember Jolene Ivey says part of the problem is the University of Maryland Capital Regional Medical Center is much smaller than the Cheverly Hospital that it replaced.
Back when the hospital was being planned, the county executive was pushing for a larger hospital. The county executive at that time was Rashern Baker. But the governor instead cut the number of beds. So we shouldn't be surprised that today, when we're telling people, please come stay in our county and try our new hospital, that we're being overrun. You know, that's a basic problem. The hospital is too small from the beginning, and I do believe that if we had gotten the size hospital we needed in the first place, we wouldn't be in this position today.
Meantime, the demand so far has exceeded expectations. About 30% more patients are seeking care at the facility's emergency room compared with the now closed facility in Cheverly. Well, here are the latest COVID-19 numbers for our area. The State Health Department has identified 505 new cases since yesterday. 85 of those are in Prince George's County. The positivity rate is at 2.58%, and 5 people have died of COVID since yesterday, and 215 people remain hospitalized. The White House expected to announce a major new federal mandate late this afternoon. The Biden administration is considering requiring federal employees to show proof they've been vaccinated against the coronavirus or submit to regular testing and wear masks. There are more than 4.2 million federal workers nationwide. The mandate will come on the heels of the VA making a similar requirement for its healthcare workers. California and New York State, as well as a host of local jurisdictions across the country, have also enacted similar protocols. And you're watching CTV News. I'm Byron Scott. More news in just a bit.
COVID-19 is a severe lung infection. Trust the American Lung Association for science-based public health information, especially for the 36 million Americans who live with lung disease. We have launched the COVID-19 Action Initiative to end COVID-19 and address future respiratory virus pandemics. Access our free lung health resources and see how you can support our initiative.
Welcome back. An ethics panel for the Prince George's School Board is recommending 6 elected members either resign or be removed. It comes as those same members petitioned the state to remove board chair Juanita Miller. The findings are not supposed to be public, but they were anonymously sent to elected leaders throughout the county. Allegations include violating policy by hiring a board lobbyist, prompting a federal discrimination lawsuit, and a pay-to-play scheme involving campaign contributions. Some of the accused board members have hired attorneys. 3 are represented by former state's attorney Glenn Ivey. Well, the county's school system is getting shots into young arms. Mobile vaccination clinics were set up at Ernest Just Middle School in Mitchellville and Laurel High School today. Healthcare workers administered the shots for free to children 12 years old and older. The school district will host its final 2 clinics tomorrow at Bowie and High Point High Schools from 1:30 in the afternoon until 5:30 in the evening. The Montgomery County School District says all students will be required to wear face coverings when classes resume this fall. This announcement comes as COVID-19 cases spike across the nation. Officials say the new mandate will also apply to staff and school visitors. The district is also requiring that students wear masks while on school buses. And a dispute between a consumer watchdog group and the Washington Gas Light Company over a proposed utility increase is at a standstill. The two are awaiting a response from the Maryland Public Service Commission on whether it will rehear its decision to approve the increase. The Office of the People's Counsel says the commission abdicated its responsibility to regulate spending and has failed to uphold merger agreements.
The evidence that we've introduced on these projects establishes that the company was not prudent with respect to these specific projects. And on that basis, we would ask that certain costs associated with those projects be disallowed. At the very least, the commission needs to review the evidence, analyze it, and explain why it finds the evidence that the company introduced in response to OPC's evidence more compelling and why the company has met its burden.
Correct me if I'm wrong. You're concerned that this may set a precedent that goes against what's in the best interest of consumers.
There is a concern as to precedent. That's absolutely true. But there's also a concern that's immediate with respect to this case and the customers that are going to be paying these bills. And our consultant has found that a lot of the spending that customers are going to pay for was imprudent, and therefore customers shouldn't pay for it.
The OPC says since Washington Gas merged with AltaGas in 2018, it has asked for rate increases annually, but the council says the utility has not shown significant investment in the company's infrastructure. Well, a Montgomery County woman faces first-degree murder charges in connection with the death of her roommate, a 92-year-old woman. This is the suspect, 26-year-old Julia Birch. Police were called to their home on Spruill Drive in Kensington yesterday. That's where Birch allegedly admitted to killing Nancy Frankel. Police found Frankel in the home. Birch is being held without bond. And a man faces murder charges in connection with the fatal shooting of a Temple Hills woman. The suspect is 21-year-old Justice Simmons. Police were called to the 2800 block of Bellbrook Drive back on July 11th. That's where they found Rachel Nelson and two others suffering from gunshot wounds. Nelson died 11 days later. Simmons faces first-degree murder charges. He's being held on a no-bond status. Well, yesterday we introduced you to a humanitarian organization, Pan-African Collective. The organization has been doing humanitarian work in Africa for 20 years. The Prince George's-based nonprofit was founded by the Reverend Jonathan Weaver of Greater Mount Nebo Church in Bowie. The organization, which operates a school in Rwanda, has spearheaded many efforts in the country.
In Rwanda, we've done several things. One is that we've been engaged in a medical missions project in Rwanda since 2012. Where we've been going out into rural communities, taking with us doctors, nurses, and people just of goodwill that are interested in knowing more and meeting people there in Rwanda. And so over that period of time, we have been able every year for a 2-week period of time. So we've done this now for 10 years, and we've actually been able to provide medical care now for nearly 20,000 people.
Reverend Weaver hopes to go back to Africa in the next few months. To find out more about the group or to volunteer, go to panafricancollective.org. And still ahead tonight on CTV News, Laurel Museum has reopened to visitors. Keisha Butts takes us there after the break. Stay with us.
My mother was always very familiar with her neighborhood, but one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual. And she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at. It was very unsettling for her.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you, and we'll figure it out."
Welcome back. Police have released the identity of the person who was shot and killed Tuesday afternoon in Temple Hills. He's 22-year-old Jonathan LeGrant of Temple Hills. Investigators say he was shot Tuesday at just around 4 o'clock on the 400 block of Bentwood Drive. Responding officers found LeGrant outside suffering from multiple gunshot wounds. He died later at a hospital. So far, no one has been arrested in connection with the crime. Anyone with information is asked to call police. Well, a new training center in the county is gearing up to open its doors to the public. The B.D. McCoy Nonprofit Training Center is located in Clinton. The organization offers employment, readiness skills, legal consultation, and housing referrals. It also provides food and clothes to those in need.
Any youth or people who are incarcerated or homeless, and they need a suit to go to court. They need a suit to if not even just go to court, to go with church or things like that. So we're in the mix, and we've been doing stuff in the community for a while. That's important. You know, we saw how people was standing in line during the pandemic, cars, waiting, lined up to get food. It's not over with. And what we don't know in the community is that this has been going on for a while. We'll buy clothes, we'll get clothes, we will take clothes to folks. We're gonna let the folks know Saturday that we're here. It's gonna be from 1 to 4, and we're gonna let them know that we're here. And when you knock on our door, we're gonna answer. We're not running, we're not hiding.
A grand opening will take place this Saturday from 1 p.m. until 6 in the evening. The training center is at 7187 Old Alexandria Ferry Road in Clinton. Well, grab your family and friends and head over to the Laurel Museum. After closing down for more than a year, it's back open again. Keisha Butts has that story.
We're at the Laurel Museum. Its doors are finally back open to the public. From the history of the city to even the Black Lives Matter movement, there's something here for everyone. With me now to tell us more about the museum is the Laurel Historical Society's Executive Director, Ann Bennett. Thank you for being here today with us.
Hi, thank you so much.
So tell me, how excited are you that the museum is finally back open?
We're very excited to be back open to the public. We're very thankful that after more than 15 months we can open our doors again and just really interact with the public. I didn't realize how much I had missed that over the past couple months.
Tell me about some of the exhibits that are at the museum.
Right, so we did keep the exhibit that we had closed back in 2020, which focused on Laurel's 150th anniversary of incorporation. So we thought it was still important to tell the history of Laurel over the last 150 years. But what we also wanted to do that was really important was to tell the story of 2020 and all the ways that COVID, the protest, everything that was happening in our country and in the world just changed us as individuals and as members of society. And so we really put out the call to the community to capture their experiences with images, materials, stories, and just really wanted to focus on Laurel's response to 2020, and then that's what we opened up with our new display.
And can you tell me, why it is so important to showcase, the Black Lives Matter movement as well as the COVID-19 response?
Well, it really impacted everybody in Laurel, not just the people who were at the protest, but it really affected everyone here in Laurel. And this is a great way to show that we are one community, even if we have different experiences, even if we have different history, even if we're not from Laurel, even if we're just recent residents, that we are still all connected because we're here now, we're here in this place, and just showing that everyone's story, everyone's voice matters.
My final question is, what's your favorite exhibit inside the museum?
I guess kind of a whimsical take on it is we do have like a swag of masks that were showcased, some that I had made, some that we collected from the community. But there's so much history and on display in the museum, whether it's community-based, whether it's the old businesses, whether it's our transportation past that's really strong in Laurel. There's really something for everyone and for everyone's interest.
All right, well, thank you so much. All right, so the Laurel Museum is located on Main Street. It's open every weekend from noon until 4 p.m. In Laurel, Keisha Butts, CTV News.
To find out more, visit laurelhistoricalsociety.org. Let's now get a quick look at our 3-day weather forecast tonight. Thunderstorms and showers expected with a low around 73 degrees. Tomorrow, sunny with a high near 87. Saturday, mostly sunny with a high near 81. And Sunday, partly cloudy with a chance of showers and a high near 83. And now for the community calendar, calling all District 6 residents. Meet the candidates running for the County Council District 6 seat. Learn more about the role of the County Council and the candidates who hope to represent you. The event takes place tonight, July 29th from 6:30 until 8:30 via Zoom. Make sure you register to attend the virtual event by using the link on your screen. And that wraps up our newscast tonight. See you tomorrow night. I'm Byron Scott.